I have been summoned to talk about California.
And I'm stuck in the Hotel California. Please let me out. I can
Mm,
check out anytime I'd like, but I can really never leave.
Probably for the best. It's probably your own little insane asylum, just for you.
I'm going to Arkham.
No,
Arkham Asylum?
no, we're not going on this path. We are talking about California and the climate and grape growing.
Yes, California is the fourth state of the United States of America that we would like to talk about for WSET Level 3. California is a very important region, and we have the climate and grape growing conditions. So Central California, the coasts here are protected by the mountain ranges that shield from the oceanic effects of the Pacific Ocean. Your night temperatures are cool and foggy, leading into cooler mornings. And some years can be too cool, where your grapes do not ripen fully. And the coast is cooler than the inland, with valleys acting as funnels for wine, in the sense that it funnels like air up and mist. You'll see that in Napa Valley when we get into that. This region has very low rainfall during the growing season, and longer time on the vine during the harvest season leads grapes to gain more concentrated flavors and higher sugar levels. Some winemakers are choosing to pick early for the style of wine that they're producing.
We'll then move on to focus on our black grape varietals. Most importantly and most dominantly planted, coupled with Zinfandel's Cabernet Sauvignon, which is made in a full-bodied style, extremely concentrated, especially in our warmer climate sites. And we're seeing a lot of new oak be used to enhance the flavors of this Cabernet Sauvignon and add some more secondary characteristics to it. Zinfandel is known as California's own grape. There is a lot of old vine production here, and it's been in the region for quite a while, at least since California has started to produce its own wine, but does unevenly ripen. So you're having multiple either passes of the vineyards for high quality production, or you're using different grapes for different reasons. Your more raisinated grapes are going to produce a more full-bodied wine with higher alcohol, while your underripe grapes might be used for more sparkling wine production or for more simple wine. White Zinfandel, we're also seeing some production of, which is essentially a rosé version of Zinfandel, made in a simpler style, pale color, generally a more medium to medium sweet level for sweetness level, and nice fruity characteristic as well. Merlot is going to be made with soft tannins as well as some ripe black fruits, and does a little better in our cooler vineyard sites, so perhaps a little bit closer to the coast. This is going to be nice deep color with full body and high alcohol. Pinot Noir, our next black grape, does nice and really nice and moderate climates and the nice moderate vineyard, so it's sort of in the middle of our last two varietals, Merlot and Cab Sav. It's going to be made light in color with more gamey character, and as well as some flavors as secondary characteristics added by oak. Syrah as well, full-bodied with notes of pepper, like it's always known for, and is widely planted throughout the state.
All right, we have two big white grape varietals that are planted here in California. First off being Chardonnay. It accounts for the most plantings of white grapes throughout the state. And lower quality wines will have fruity characteristics with low acid and some oak for using staves or chips. However, your high quality Chardonnays will have high alcohol with full body and very low acid, oaked flavor with butter and tropical fruits like banana. Your Sauvignon Blanc, the premium examples of your Sauvignon Blanc are going to come from the coastal regions of California. Budded examples, however, do come from the warmer inland areas of California. And Fumé Blanc refers to an oaked style of Sauvignon Blanc, but some use it to refer to an unoaked style. Fumé Blanc is in reference to Pouilly Fumé in France.
So our regions, the first one we're going to look at is the North Coast, which lies just north of the San Francisco Bay, and is going to have a lot of moderating influence coming from the ocean. We're thinking fogs as well as some cool breezes for the vineyards. Our big AVA that we're going to touch on is the Napa Valley AVA, which is going to be where we're going to find our most prestigious wines. Think Screaming Eagle.
Opus 1.
Opus 1 as well, really extremely expensive wines made it for high quality production, built with structure and built to age as well. The site is subject to very many cooling influences, but it also provides a diverse climate. So there's a lot of options for different grapes that enjoy slightly different climates. But we are having some influence from a morning fog as well as some cooling afternoon breezes more towards the San Pablo Bay. The inner AVAs would be Los Carneros, which is going to be our most southerly AVA in the Napa Valley. This extends to and entrenches itself within Sonoma Valley as well. It straddles both of them and is situated on the valley floor. So it's going to have slightly flatter vineyard sites, but still produces high quality Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. Both can use, or pardon me, just the Chardonnay is going to produce a nice Métis Champenois sparkling wine. Stag's Leap District AVA, as well as Rutherford and Oakville, are renowned for their Cabernet Sauvignon production because it thrives in this nice warm climate. The Rutherford AVA has the least amount of influence due to its proximity to San Pablo Bay, making it the warmest of these three AVAs. We're seeing a lot of Merlot production because it's a little bit cooler, because it's a little bit warmer, as well as some Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc being permitted, as well as having a nice predominant production. I'll talk about St. Helena, which is going to be a little bit more north, as well as Calistoga. We have some nice warm daytime temperatures with nice full-bodied wines, nice and concentrated, and some really high-quality production of these wines. We're still seeing some wind influences from the Chalk Hills, this gap that provides some relief to the nice warm afternoon temperatures. We're seeing Cabernet Sauvignon dominate, but Zinfandel and Syrah are also having some plantings here. Howell Mountain AVA is going to be home to our more western-facing vineyards that are going to be nice and exposed and warm in the hot sun during the afternoon, and it's going to have a nice, warmer east-facing vineyards as well as the west-facing vineyards. Red wines are going to have higher tannin and going to be a little bit less rich if they're made on the valley floor. Cabernet Sauvignon is going to see most of our production here for red varieties. We're also going to see some Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and Zinfandel as well, that Californian variety, with white grapes, on the other hand, being dominated by Cabernet or Chardonnay.
Moving on to Sonoma and Mendocino counties. Sonoma is actually a much larger area than Napa with a greater diversity of climates. We're going to talk about a couple of inner AVAs within Sonoma. You firstly have the Russian River Valley. You have very, very cool, very foggy conditions, which provide an ample growing environment for very high quality Pinot Noir and Chardonnay coming out of this region. Sparkling wine is also produced with these varietals. In the Dry Creek Valley AVA, you have very densely planted vines on both the hillsides and the floor of the valley, where the hillsides are home to your high quality old vine Zinfandel, where on the valley floor you have your high quality Sauvignon Blanc. Rhone varietals like your Syrah and Cabernet Sauvignon are also popular here. Moving on, Alexander Valley AVA. The wines here tend to be more full body than the rest of the other Sonoma AVAs, and it has built its reputation off of very soft textured, very full bodied examples of Cabernet Sauvignon. And finally, we are talking about the Sonoma Coast AVA. You have the oceanic influence of the Pacific Ocean. We are on the west coast of the United States, and the vineyards here are going to be planted on south-facing slopes to encourage your ripening. The Sonoma Valley actually runs quite parallel to the Napa Valley, and you have the San Pablo Bay, which is the almost like a little north of San Francisco area. It is cooled by breeze and fog, and as such is known for very high quality Chardonnay as well as your old vine Zinfandel. Your Mendocino County, we have a couple of AVAs here, like the Anderson Valley. Here, you're going to experience a very cool climate, which is actually known for Riesling and Gewürztraminer, and there is some sparkling wine production in the Anderson Valley. Your Mendocino AVA is actually going to be warmer and drier with some coastal hills for altitude. You have examples of very full-bodied Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, and Pinot Noir with soft tannins coming out of this region.
We'll then move on to the Central Coast, which is made up of a couple different AVAs. The first being the Santa Cruz Mountain AVA, which is going to have some ranging hillsides with infertile soil, so that our vines are going to be struggling a little bit more. But this leads to high quality production of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. in this area because of these more rugged conditions. Cabernet Sauvignon does do well in this moderate climate as well, though. We then have the Monterey AVA, which is going to have some Pacific Ocean influence, bless you, with some coastal plantings of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, which does really nicely with this influence from the ocean. We are having some lees stirring to influence Merlot, Syrah, and Cabernet Sauvignon. Or I'm sorry, not
sites with less wine influence.
Less wine, not lees stirring. I tripped myself up for a second there because that didn't make sense. They wouldn't often do lees stirring for a red varietal. That's something that you see very often
in white varietal.
In white varietals, yes. But you're going to see less influence of Merlot, Syrah, and Cabernet Sauvignon, but they still do well. The Santa Lucia Highland AVA is a nested AVA that has nice high-quality production of Chardonnay, but this Chardonnay is going to have more citrus and tropical fruit characters. The Paso Robles AVA is situated within the San Luis Obispo County and is going to have nice high-quality production of Syrah, Merlot, and Cabernet Sauvignon. Western Paso Robles is going to be slightly cooler with more maritime influences and is known for those Rhone varietals as well as Zinfandel, while our Eastern Paso Robles is going to be slightly hotter with nice warm summers with fertile soils, better suited for more high production and high volume wines. Our Santa Maria Valley AVA is going to be a cooler vineyard site with high quality Pinot Noir production as well as Chardonnay. They grow very well together and in similar climates, with fog encouraging slower ripening, concentrating yields, allowing more balanced and flavorful characteristics.
All right, we have the Central Valley. This region produces very high volume and inexpensive wines, and it often uses the labeling term just California, California wine. Well, the climate here is going to be hot and dry, with vineyard irrigation becoming popular. Those plants got to drink somehow. You have new varieties of Ruby Red and Ruby Cabernet do well in these conditions, and were actually designed to thrive in these hot and dry conditions. You also have examples of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Chardonnay, Colombard, Chenin Blanc, and Barbera actually are widely planted here. The main AVA we'd like to mention here is the Lodi AVA, not Lodi, it's Lodi. I was corrected once at work. This AVA is actually the easternmost AVA of California, and it straddles both the Sacramento and the San Joaquin Valley. It is home to many varietals. However, Zinfandel with Old Vine Zinfandel is very high quality wine coming out of this region.
That's it.
That's it. That was California. We're living it up in the Hotel California, baby.
Living it up in the Hotel California.